I was wondering if it's any different this time, given that maybe the difference in styles between Drew Brees and Taysom Hill.
Yeah, I mean, no question they're different. I mean, you're talking about a future Hall of Famer and then a guy that's playing really good football that gives us the added threat of running the ball. Look, we need to defend the scheme. They do really well with whoever they put back there. There's a lot of other weapons there besides the guy that gets the ball on the snap. So, listen, we've just tried to defend the scheme this week, and we'll try to make in-game adjustments. And we got a staff of coaches that I think do a great job at that. So that's how we'll approach it.
Let's go next to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Steve, I know we asked you a lot about Tyrann just because he's so talented. But in terms of the responsibility that you place upon him and his availability since you guys have been together, just what most impresses you about his availability with all the responsibilities on top of it?
Yeah, great point. There's a lot of things that T5 does that go unnoticed. Little things like talking to teammates, helping teammates out. I mean, I know earlier in the season, he had young guys over at his home, trying to mentor them. He takes that real serious. And then, again, when the best player in a group is your hardest worker, that group tends to do really well. I'm talking about the DB group. I think he does that real well. He's he's a safety valve for me, no pun intended. I mean, we can do things because he's cerebral. It's important to him, and he can go out there and get it done. He's a real good, in my opinion, he's a real natural football player, great instincts, and that's huge in this game.
Let's go next to Herbie Teope. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Coach. Good afternoon. You mentioned defending the scheme, and when you look over there, what Sean Payton has, what are some of the challenges defending against a guy like Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, and Jared Cook, and Emmanuel Sanders? The list goes on.
The list goes on and on. I know. Well, listen, one of the things you got to do is you got to limit explosive plays, because when you give a team like that has all those weapons, easy scores or easy chunk yardage, it makes it really, really tough. You got to make them earn it. And yet, I say that, and yet they're really good at methodically working down the field, whether it's Drew or whether Tyson's in there. And that, I think, is a credit to the scheme and the way they do things, and been doing it like that for a long time. And yet they balance it up enough that you can't just feature one or try to defend one thing. They got a good enough run game, and we know about all the weapons throwing it. So it's a huge challenge for our guys. We talked about it right from the onset of this week. I think we've practiced real well. I think our guys are ready for it, and we'll see what happens on Sunday.
Let's go next to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Hi, Coach. Understanding that you guys didn't have a real offseason, and that helps with rookies, just how far along is Willie Gay from knowing the defensive playbook and all the assignments and enough to be on the field for a little bit more of the snaps?
I think his knowledge of the playbook is pretty good. We've kept things pretty much the same in the packages that he's in there. I just think it's getting out there and playing. I mean, I don't know what his total snaps are, but certainly not enough to get him to where, when you have training camp and you have that base of snaps, and it's just going to be a growth process. But listen, we love the way he plays. He's passionate about how he plays, and he's gone out there and made some plays for us. So little by little, we'll just keep feeding it to him.
Got time for a couple more. We'll go Vahe and then Tyrann. Go ahead, Vahe.
Hey, Steve. Just also with Tyrann, he does have this sort of knack for being around the ball, and I think we look at that as instinct, but obviously it goes deeper than that. I just wonder if you could describe what it takes what kind of preparation it takes and how that reflects who he is.
Listen, he's a passionate football player. I thought last week's interception was an example of what he's all about. We talk all the time to the guys about production is at the ball. And simply stated is you get to the ball, you got a chance of making those plays. I mean, if he's not the relentless, playing fast kind of guy that he is, he doesn't make that interception because he's not back there. He was actually responsible for covering somebody else. His guy blocked, he freed up, and then instead of just kind of floating to the point where the ball was thrown, he was humping it, and he got the interception. I think that's a reflective of what he's all about, and that makes a huge, huge difference. We get everybody doing that, we'll make a lot more plays like that.
We'll go last to Tyrann Petro. Go ahead, Tyrann.
Coach, I know you've seen a running quarterback already, right? Lamar Jackson, but Taysom Hill's kind of a different style, more of a fullback, battering ram type of running quarterback. How does that affect, how different is it Is there anything you carry over from the Baltimore approach to what you do now, with the different styles of running quarterback?
A little bit with Baltimore because they had some power runs in there, but it feels a lot. Now we didn't go against Cam Newton when we played the Patriots, but we prepared for him, and they had plays in there that were kind of power quarterback plays. And I think when a quarterback can throw as well as this kid can, and play that position as well as he does, and be a power runner, that's pretty impressive. I mean, that's a little bit Cam Newton-ish, and we know what Cam's all about when he gets rolling. So it's a great challenge for our guys. I mean, all those things you're all talking about, is Drew Brees going to play? Is he not going to play? The quarterback they have, all those weapons that you're talking about. It's a huge, huge week for us. Hopefully we can hold up to the challenge and do something good to help our organization and team win a game.